What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Gaming with the Broscast, episode 108. My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother, Nick.
Hello.
As always, Nick, what's going on, buddy?
Nothing much, man. I'm just having a good day.
Good.
Worked a little bit late, but felt accomplished.
Okay.
And I'm feeling good. Back in North Carolina. I was in Florida all week last week, which is really, really great. But we had an 11-hour drive yesterday.
Yeah.
And Harrison, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you ever been to it's a gas station chain started in Texas.
Okay.
It's called Buc-ee's.
Yeah. Mom was talking about that over Christmas. I have not been, no, but I heard it's wild.
It's it's phenomenal. We stopped on the way down, and we stopped on the way back up. And I got the brisket sandwich.
Okay.
Because they chop fresh brisket. And whenever it comes on the board, they say fresh brisket on the board. And then everyone in the store goes, fresh brisket on the board. And then everyone gets sandwiches, and it's great.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
I got a sandwich, and it was pretty good. And then we stopped in the morning on the way back, and I got a little burrito sandwich or burrito breakfast, whatever it's called. Breakfast burrito.
Cool.
And it was delicious, man. The place is awesome. I got some Buc-ee's boxers.
Buc-ee's boxers. I mean, you gotta represent, man. Gotta represent.
Yeah. Harrison, how you doing? How's your week been, man?
It was good. Just coming off that little short 4-day week off of MLK Day and back to a normal work week. So that's always kind of sucks when stuff like that happens. It's like you take both. So you get the long weekend and then the short week followed up, but then you got to go back to your normal work session. But that's all good. Can't complain too much. Played some games. Enjoyed the snow. It's been it's warmed up here the last couple day or so, but we got some snow over the week.
Got like a couple inches, right?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but maybe some more snow on Friday, so you'll maybe get to experience it. Maybe, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
I take being in Florida over snow, but I mean,
well, it was a little chilly down in Florida. It got down to like 50 at night.
A whopping 50. I think it got to it's like 19 degrees here, but between like 20 and 30, like the difference is like. It might as well not even be the difference.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's just cold. What was it? Did I tell you about? I told you about the neighbors crash or like the people crashing. Did I tell you about the third time it happened?
You have not told me about the third crash that happened in your yard.
Okay. Yep. So I think it was Friday. Yeah, Friday night. Someone was coming down, and it was like a little a little 99 Honda or something. Mm-hmm. And we heard it's the engine revving up, and we were like, what the heck is that? And we went outside. It was like midnight at the time, and it was stuck in our in between our two neighbors across the street, stuck in that same little ditch. So I walked down there and I was like, hey, you guys good? I was like, I got a truck. Like, do you want me to help you pull it out? And he had like some like giant towing cord or something, just happened to have it. And so he put it on my truck, and I backed him out. And then my neighbor came out, and he got stuck. He went horizontal on the street. So my neighbor got his truck back down and then attached to his truck, and then pulled him up to the top of the hill. So I was like, man, people just cannot drive. So whatever.
Well, your road really doesn't get much like work done as far as.
Oh yeah, there's zero plow going on at all. Which is fine for me. Like I've got a truck that can go in a 4-wheel drive, so it's never really a problem. But the truck, the problem is we are like on the steepest hill in the world, but it's a pretty long stretch of hill that I can see you getting messed up if you're not careful. But other than that, yeah, just a nice weekend.
Nice.
Made some steaks on Friday. It's always good times. I did watch today. I did watch Eternals.
You watched Eternals today?
Yeah, I wanted to watch it. They added it to Disney Plus. It's about a 2.5 hour movie. It took me like 4 hours to actually watch it, just because I kept having to pause to work and stuff.
You watched it during work.
Yeah, but it was definitely a Disney Plus movie. I would not have gone to see it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was okay for what it was. I didn't really know much about the lore of the Eternals, but it's got some nice twists and turns, and the ending sets it up for the for the future, as they always do. But it was a nice setup for the future. So that was cool. But yeah, it was a okay movie. It was definitely.
Would you recommend it? I mean,
if you've seen all the other Marvel movies, yes. I mean,
of course.
But it doesn't. And again, with my biggest problem with the Marvel movies, when the characters, now, granted, this is like a cast of characters, but it takes place on Earth. And it kind of flip flops between the past and the present day. But during the present day, my biggest thing is, where are the other heroes? Like, where are the Avengers? What are they doing? Like, there's definitely a moment where something major happens that's like earth shattering, and we're again, I guess, by the end of Endgame, like, Thor is with the Guardians of the Galaxy. All the Disney Plus shows, they're all doing their own thing. So I guess it makes sense, but it's still like, where's everybody at?
Is there not like an Avengers button that, like, if there is a cataclysmic event, someone
exactly,
all of them just show up?
So, but yeah, it was a solid movie. If you're invested in the Marvel stuff, like I am, like, I've seen all the Disney Plus shows and all the movies up until this point. So if you've seen them all, I would say it's definitely worth a watch. And
if you've seen them all, you've already seen this movie, probably.
No, it's pretty different. Like,
no, I mean, like, for someone who has.
Oh yeah, if you've already you've probably already seen. Well, like, like that, and like Shang-Chi, I waited until it came to Disney Plus. So, which, I mean, I thought that was a really good movie. I definitely would have saw that in theaters, but I just waited, whatever. But it's a solid movie for what it is. It's definitely not even close to like one of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, but it's solid for what it is. It's serviceable. Well, yeah.
Before we get into games, speaking of Marvel movies, I watched. It's not a Marvel show, but but it's Peacemaker. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's based off of Suicide Squad.
I do want to see this.
I just watched the first episode, but it was pretty hilarious.
Is it really cool full episode. Season?
I think it's episodic. I think there's like only 4 episodes available currently.
Okay.
5. But
yeah, I do want to watch that.
Yeah, just something about John Cena and just the way he looks. It's like he's not a real human, because
he looks
just so large.
He looks like a toddler, like, but just in like grown up form. It's really weird. Like I mean, he's super fit, but like anytime he's ever in shorts, like cargo shorts or anything, like, he just looks just too big. Like,
he looks like an action figure.
And yes, he does. He really does.
Like, and there's a scene. There's actually pretty long scene where he's in his underwear and doing a fight, and I was just looking at him. I'm like, how is that a real person? Like, there's just proportionally, it just doesn't make sense to me. But
now, without spoiling anything, or I guess even spoiling the Suicide Squad, does it take place after the Suicide Squad movie?
It does.
Okay.
Almost contextually, it takes place immediately after.
Oh, okay.
So
I figured that's what it was, but I wasn't quite sure. Okay.
I had no idea where it was going to take place going in, but I'm kind of glad that it picked up after that instead of being like a backstory show.
Okay. John Cena. Yeah, there's so many good, like, just fun to watch, like, wrestler turned actor. Like Dave Bautista, like, is obviously hilarious as Drax, and I've liked him on some other stuff. And then, of course, The Rock. I mean, The Rock is like the most famous of all. But John Cena, I mean, from the clips I've seen, he's got some chops as an actor. So
I think he's the funniest. I think he's just something about him. It's easy to make a comedy movie with John Cena because you can put him in a situation where he's this big guy.
He's just large, so it's like he's already like hilarious in any scene he's in, regardless if it's supposed to be funny or not. 'Cause it's just like comically, like you said, like an action figure. That's like perfect way to describe him.
Like there was one scene where he was in the hospital and he was wearing like the hospital gown.
Yeah,
and he was like talking to this guy, and then it just did like a shot behind him, and it just like his butt cheeks while he was talking. I don't know why. It was really funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But on seeing his body. Check out Peacemaker. It's really funny. I think I'm gonna keep watching it.
Yeah, I might watch that with Brittany because she liked
Suicide Squad.
So
nice.
The DC stuff they got some good stuff rolling now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess speaking of Drax and Dave Bautista, I did finish Guardians of the Galaxy.
Incredible.
Nice. Yeah, incredible. Nice. I think you're right. Peter Quill definitely at the end, he definitely grew on me. Mm-hmm. Just with that that whole story unfolds. It just really great game. I think the combat was probably still the weakest part. But it towards the end, like, 'cause I just felt like myself just constantly spamming like the other moves, and then but once you get like the elemental stuff, Peter Quill can definitely start doing some damage, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a weird spot like towards the kind of the middle of the game, I think, like, and I don't know, because I was messing around with like the performance mode and like the graphics mode or whatever, and I went to like graphics mode or like the ray tracing mode and kept it on there, and I didn't really see too much of a difference, so I switched it back to quality or performance mode. And then all of a sudden my game started stuttering like really, really badly, like even during cutscenes. And it was like borderline unplayable. Like I'm talking like 5 to 6 frames a second. Like it was really, really bad. But I thought to myself, I was like, okay, I've never not had this game in suspend mode. Like I've always just kept it in quicker zoom. So I was like, well, let me close it out and then see what happens. And I closed it out. And then after that, it was perfect. So I don't know if that was just some weird thing where maybe it just got confused between me switching between performance and quality or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that caused the issue. But yeah, evidently when I closed it out and booted it back up, it was perfectly fine. Like it was flawless or whatever for the most part.
Now that you say that, I had the same thing happen, and it was near the end of the game. It was when you go back to nowhere and like kind of go through that city. And I was like, why is it stuttering so much? Like, why? Like, nothing has really changed. But it turns out, and I just remembered it when you said it, but I changed the graphics mode. I switched it to quality, and then I think I switched it back to performance, and I didn't close out the game.
Yeah.
And it was stuttering for like an hour.
Yeah, because normally in like most games I've seen where you can swap, it tells you, okay, you need to restart the game. But it didn't with this one. So that's why I never did. But yeah, I ended up, finishing up and stuff like that. It's and then like just the whole, like, they totally did like a post credit scene. The way they handled the post credit scene with that was like awesome. How you thought that was over, and then it's like, nope, actually it's not over.
Yeah.
And then you do like the last boss fight. I thought that was really, really fun and smart. And looking forward. Like, really hope they do another one, because that team was great. All the characters were great. Drax was hilarious the entire time. Like, it was great. I love like the Guardians movies. I love, and then just their interpretation of the Guardians, which is pretty similar to the MCU, but they have all got their own kind of unique spin on everything. So I really liked it. Looking forward to see what else they can push out with that studio.
Yeah. So, okay, I got a few questions for you.
Yeah.
So, without spoilering anything, the birthday scene, the second birthday scene, I thought that was pretty emotional. I thought that one was pretty. Yeah,
they did.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And And then did you go through and get all the collectibles? Did you like try to 100% it or anything like that, or did you just?
I definitely, when I saw there was spots where I could break off the main path. I found a lot of the suits, like some are like super cool, like the apocalypse suits, whatever, are awesome. I did have the one for Groot. It's like the one, I don't know if you found it, but it's the one where he's like kind of like got the red tint and he's got like the crazy branches coming out and he looks like kind of creepy. Yeah. Kellen came in there and he's like, "Oh, that's Groot," but he's like, "That's a scary Groot." he made me change it back.
I put that on for a little bit, but then I was like, "Man, this doesn't feel like Groot." So
and that's the problem with, because like there's even a scene where you go to this planet that's like full of ice, and like my Drax had clothes on or had a shirt on, but like in the game they mentioned like, "Oh, why are you shirtless right now? Like, or how can you stand the cold being shirtless?" Mm-hmm. So I was like, I think I ended up switching them all back to pretty much their main outfits, just to.
Yeah, I did the same. I didn't really love Star-Lord's outfits. I thought they were like just a little bit too uncanny.
Yeah, I did have him wearing like the Nova Corps outfit for a little bit, but I ended up switching him back to his main fit.
Yeah, because they were like, the main fits were, I mean, they all look really good.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, I don't know if they have any plans for DLC. I don't know how well this game sold or anything like that, but I would love to see something else. I thought it was a perfect, like, it didn't overstay its welcome. It was a perfect length. I thought everything about that game was great. The combat was a little bit dull, especially like towards the end.
Yeah.
But no fight. I mean, like the fights lasted like 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
They didn't go on too long. That's for sure.
And then like all the boss fights were pretty fun too. So yeah, great game. Highly recommend. If you can, I know I bought it for like $25. So if you could find it on sale or something, I would definitely say it's worth it. If you're turned off, like probably like a lot of people were with the Avengers, it's nothing like the Avengers. It's a way better. Although I did like the story of the Avengers, but the gameplay wasn't quite as good.
It didn't make up for the.
Yeah, I mean, just the constant. I mean, and then like the one thing I guess is like they do repeat themselves a lot, like saying the same lines over and over again when you're in combat. Mm-hmm. Which
that's like any.
Yeah, it didn't necessarily annoy me, but I could start to to hear it more and more as the game progressed. But again, it didn't bother me too much. So those fights lasted 15, 20, 30 seconds a piece. So it's not like they were constantly repeated, but there were times where they would say like the same 3 or 4 lines within the same fight. But there's a lot of dialogue in that game. It's pretty awesome.
It's an insane amount of dialogue.
Did you, I guess, with being pretty vague, did you pay the fine?
I did.
You did. Okay. So did your at the very end, did your ship stop?
No.
Okay. Mine did.
Yours did. That's fine.
Yeah. Because I thought like in that moment, I was like, like trying to role play as Peter Quill. I was like, there's no way he would pay that fine, But
yeah, he wouldn't. I know that would be a great ending to like an actual Guardians movie. Is having the ship stop.
Well, that's how my game ended.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, great game. I did mention at the top or like before I started recording, I did play a little bit more of Resident Evil VR. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this game. I'm gonna try, but I just I've put like the tunnel vision on for it, and it's gotten a little bit better for me. But I don't know. I feel so clammy when I play this game specifically in VR. And in this, The Walking Dead, I tried. That made me feel a little weird. And then whenever I played that one roller coaster game,
that one will get you.
Yeah, that made me feel the same way. So I just don't know if VR is necessarily for me, which sucks. But
how are you going to survive in the metaverse if you're not acclimated to VR?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Maybe I'll just turn myself into a robot like Mark
Zuckerberg.
I saw like a video of him the other day, and like every new video he puts out or whatever, like commercially, like he like forgets how to be human. It's bizarre.
There's something wrong. I don't know what it is. I think they replaced him. I think they replaced him with a robot, because there's no way.
Yeah,
there's no way he actually interacts with people like that.
Yeah, I don't like the man who created like the biggest social hub in the world. Like, how do you not have like awkward personal or the people skills? I don't know. It's weird. Sweet baby rays, man.
sweet baby rays.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to push through it. But I mean, it's super cool. Like just being in that world and looking around, it's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Nick. I've been talking forever. You talk about some SMT. I'm sure that's probably the only thing you've been playing since you've been in Florida.
Well, yeah. So I mean, obviously, I didn't take any consoles down to Florida. I just took the Switch, and yeah, I'm kind of glad I did, because I got back into Shin Megami Tensei 5, and I had stopped probably back in
Thanksgiving,
early December,
right? Yeah,
around Thanksgiving. Well, I played it a lot over Thanksgiving, and then I kind of fell off, and was playing Halo. It was pretty much for Halo once the Halo campaign came out.
Yeah.
And I stopped around like 16 hours in, and I think there's 4 like main like open world hubs, and I was in the second one. And yeah, I got back into it in Florida, and I've put another like 15 hours into it, and I'm in the third world now, or third area. And Dan, like this game might be the best turn-based RPG I've ever played.
Wow.
Like I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's the exploration, which is so rewarding because you're like constantly gaining experience just by exploring, or if it's through the combat, like you're constantly having to rearrange your team and look at the weaknesses of a boss and kind of change your team comp to avoid their criticals, avoid their avoid affinities that they have, because each of your demons, each of your characters are weak to a certain affinity, like fire, ice. They have strengths and certain affinities. So you're just constantly having to rearrange your team and kind of finding that right build. And I think that's just really cool. Like I've been, spending like 30 minutes just tinkering around with my, with my team comp and like fusing demons together to create new demons. And, just, it kind of sounds like, it sounds kind of lame when you talk about it. It kind of sounds like, oh, it's an RPG, whatever, you get play WoW, you loser. But I mean, this game, it's really, really cool. It's like, in terms of an RPG, which is normally pretty story heavy.
Yeah.
Like when I think of, a game like Pokemon that might stop you every 10 minutes to do a cutscene or something like that. I mean, this game, you're playing the game like 90% of the time. The other 10% is just, shorter cutscenes, boss introductions, things like that. So like, it's like an RPG. Like you're playing the game, man. It's
cool.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I freaking love it. And I know I'm not going to finish it before Pokemon comes out later this week, and we'll talk about it soon, but I'm excited for Pokemon, and
here we are, Nick. Here we are.
Yeah, okay. Let's just talk about it.
Well, let's before we do that, I finished up the Halo Infinite's like their cyber event showdown, whatever.
Okay.
That was cool. I mean, like little nice. 10 unlocks. I got my Mohawk light show thing, which is cool. So I've been playing some more of that, and then I did start. It just came to Game Pass. Nobody Saves the World. And I played for about 45 minutes, and I think I'm gonna play some more. It's very kind of Zelda-esque. It's like an over the top kind of like dungeon crawler type game. And I just got out of like the first like dungeon area, and I'm in like the open world or the main area. But it's pretty unique. It's kind of like a light RPG almost.
Okay.
You start out this dude named Nobody, I guess. He's like this pale white naked man walking around. And I think he's got amnesia, so he doesn't really know what's going on. And then you find this wizard's wand, and you can all of a sudden transform into a rat. And then you get like these you get like different move sets. I think with the rat, like you can, if you get like your basic attack, and then you have like your other move. I can't, forgive me, I've just barely played it, so I don't know all the names, but you have one move where you can kind of like devour enemies and like regain your health. And then once I got out of the and it's constantly like put in like kind of like quests too. It's like, okay, kill 50 enemies with a rat or blah blah blah. So it's like you're constantly unlocking these classes. And then at the end of the dungeon, I unlocked, I think it was like a ranger and a knight or some sort of like sword based person. So like a bow and arrow person and like a sword based person. And you can kind of change your transformations on the fly. Like it's like a radial wheel that you choose. So it's interesting so far. Cool. Nice. I think I'm going to try just a little bit more to see how I like it. But yeah, I mean, it's on Game Pass, so it's I can't remember who.
And is this a roguelike? This isn't a roguelike, is it?
No, yeah, it's not a roguelike, but
okay.
Like the first area is like a dungeon you go through, and there's I think there's like a boss at the very end. But you can go through the that dungeon again to when you leave and go back in, it'll refresh the enemies. So if you want to finish out like some quests you got, you can do that. So again, I've only put about 30-45 minutes into it, but it seems pretty cool so far.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool from the screenshots I saw. I didn't really see any gameplay, but this is one of those games that I was definitely interested in.
Drinkbox Studios. Who makes? What else do they make?
They didn't make Guacamelee, did they?
They did. Yes. Yep. So this is their first game since Guacamelee 2.
Wow.
But I mean, it's a pretty game. It's got like a nice art style, RPG light kind of thing with
Oh, they did Severed as well. Okay.
Severed. Oh yeah, Severed. Yeah. And then like a dungeon crawler as well. So kind of Zelda-esque. I don't know if it's on this. No, I think it's just Steam and Xbox. I feel like this would be the perfect game for like Switch on handheld, but it's got like a cool art style to it. It's I'm gonna give it a shot.
Nice. And this is called Nobody Saves the World.
Yep, Nobody Saves the World.
And it's on Game Pass and PC.
I think it's on PC and Steam. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds cool. I'll definitely need to check it out. I've like a laundry list of Game Pass games that I want to play. I really want to play Spelunky too. Yep.
They added Hitman, the trilogy. Yeah, I want to play that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. They added
got that downloaded. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff when we're on the precipice of Pokemon. Which speaking of, Nick, let's kind of dive into it, Nick.
So we clipped ourselves 2 weeks ago saying we were pretty much shitting on Pokemon, saying it's gonna be bad.
Yeah,
it looked like there was nothing going on in the world. They haven't really shown much, and that's probably because there was nothing to do in the game. And we clipped it and put it on TikTok, so it's there for the world to see. And now here we are. And I've been tweeting about it a little bit over the past week, just as I came across the leaks, and a lot of people have either ripped the game or they got it early and they're playing it.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go into spoilers or anything about the game. But Harrison, like, what changed your mind? Like, what changed your mind between 2 weeks ago and now?
I think just the fact that the last couple of trailers they put out have gone in more in depth about the game, which is what I've been kind of wanting all along. I mean, I did a YouTube video a couple of days ago just talk about how bad the marketing has been, and I mentioned like maybe it doesn't even matter because it's Pokemon. It's going to sell like crazy. I mean, we've been talking about this since it got announced. I just my biggest complaint or my biggest like thought about it is for players like us, where we grew up with Pokemon. And we're not necessarily like diehard fans of Pokemon. We're not playing every single type of Pokemon game, but for the most part, we enjoy it. So I really think the last 3 or 4 Pokemon games have just been really stale. And when they announced this last year, I think you and I were both like pretty pumped. And then we didn't hear much. What they showed
the same stuff.
Yeah, the same kind of different clips of what they've already shown. The open, we didn't know if it was open world or like kind of, hub based, which it's hub based, which is fine. We didn't know much about it. And then like here now, like 2 or 3 weeks prior to the game release, they're finally coming out and showing all this stuff. And then obviously, majority of the game got leaked, which, it's like, did they leak it?
It all got leaked.
Yeah. Did they leak it? Like, did they know? Like, obviously they didn't leak it, but it was just, it shouldn't have to, I shouldn't be excited about this game without it having to be leaked. And I didn't look at every single spoiler. I looked at a few things. But yeah, it looks a lot better than what we have seen so far. And it sucks that it's 2 or 3 weeks prior, but I mean, here we are. I guess it doesn't really matter.
Like a lot of the spoiler, like a lot of the leaks were just gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Like I'm super excited about these gameplay mechanics, and they weren't shown off during the trailers.
Yeah.
And not until today, at least, with that, 6-minute overview trailer that came out. But
yeah.
And it's kind of like night and day compared to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, because people were really excited about that. And then it leaked. People got it early, and those leakers and those players that got it early, they were like, yeah, this game kind of sucks. This game really doesn't have much going on. And it's the opposite for Arceus, where we didn't think there was much going on, and then it leaks and they're like, this game's kind of great. Graphics still aren't, obviously not as great as we want them to be, but everything else, the gameplay, the catching mechanics, like it's amazing.
Yeah, it looks like this is the Pokemon game we've wanted for a long time. And, I'm still cautiously optimistic. I'm still definitely going to just wait for reviews and just read a few different websites and just see what they have to say. Because if there's any like indication of, slight letdown or something like that. I just want innovation, I think, with Pokemon. They've Game Freak has just done the same thing over and over again, and they haven't really needed a reason to shake things up too much just because the games sell so well. But I did see, I think it was a comment I saw on one of the overview trailers. It said Pokemon Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl walked so Pokemon Arceus could run. So, I mean, it's
true.
Hopefully that's true. I want this game to be really good. I want to fall in love with Pokemon again, because that was like our childhood game growing up. Yeah. And it was so much fun. And just from watching the TV show to playing the game, like this is the vision you had back then for what you would want now. And hopefully we can get it or close to what that experience is.
Yeah, I think we will, now that I've seen leaks and, impressions. And what I'm most excited about for this game is, in the traditional Pokemon games, catching Pokemon isn't that fun.
No,
it's a simple button prompt. You have to get their HP down to a certain level. It's kind of monotonous. And compared to like, the TV shows when we were growing up, like that's like the most exciting part is when Ash is catching a Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's going to be like that. I mean, I get, like, apparently it's going to be like that, where you're actually walking around, you're ducking in grass, you're throwing smoke bombs, you're sneaking up on Pokemon, you're getting charged at and having to dodge out of the way. And then they nix what I think is probably the worst part of a lot of Pokemon games, and that's just the regular trainer battles. And that might be a hot take, because people love to see trainer battles in Pokemon, but no one wants to fight Jill or Rob for the 500th time, who just have a level 5 Metapod that's just using Harden.
Bug catcher Stan.
Bug catch. Yeah, I mean, like, do you really want to fight trainers? Is that really what you want to do? Or do you want to catch Pokemon and fight these like really, really strong, noble Pokemon? Like, that sounds a lot more fun than just going through the 8 gym
That's the most exciting to me, I think, is the noble stuff. That stuff looks really fun.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention it. I played about 45 minutes of Pokemon last night. Just I got into bed and doing a podcast and was just laying there, chilling. And yeah, it's so boring. Like, it's so easy. Yeah. Like, yeah,
you've seen it 10 games for 10 games.
Yeah, it definitely needed a shake up, and again, hopefully this can provide, because yeah, just from what I've seen so far, the leaks and stuff like that just looks great.
Yeah, like I've been on the Pokemon Reddit, just looking around, looking at all the leaks and stuff, and people are pretty pumped.
Yeah,
and I think that's a really good sign, is when the leakers are excited.
Yeah,
because normally they're like, oh, another dud, or not as great. There's no post game or whatever. It's like it's kind of got it all, it seems.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Again, when the reviews drop on like Wednesday or Thursday, I'll be reading a few and watching some videos and stuff, and hopefully everything is generally positive. Hopefully these websites let people that love Pokemon, or know Pokemon, or whatever the case is, or maybe even like people like us, hopefully those people get to review it, just so they can give us that.
I hope it's the opposite.
We talk maybe an unbiased opinion.
Yeah.
I
mean, looking back at all the glowing reviews of Sword and Shield, I mean, I think IGN gave it a 9 or an 8 or 9. Like, that game does not deserve an 8 or 9.
No, I would say that's like a 6. I thought it was boring. Again, it was so easy. But
boring.
Yeah. But
we'll see. I mean,
yeah,
it's real. I'm just really excited for what this could be. More so than any other game this year, because I know Elden Ring's going to be good. I know Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be good.
Gone gold, baby. It's gone gold.
It's gone gold. No, God of War 2 is going to be good. But this is this could be this could be the best Pokemon game ever.
Yeah, it could be.
It's
exciting.
Yeah,
it's exciting. Any last thoughts on Pokemon before we jump into the news?
Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot more to say next week.
Yeah,
because I know you're going to cave.
Yeah, regardless. I mean, if the reviews are good, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for just an adventure.
Is there a certain number that you're hoping for?
I mean, I don't expect this thing to be like 10s and stuff and 9s, but if it's getting like 8s and the reviewer is positive and he or she is stating that it's innovative from other Pokemon games, then that's all I need. I don't necessarily need this game to be like flawless, because I know it's not going to be, but just as long as I can see the word innovative in somewhere in that review, or trying new things, or the stuff that they're tried works. I think just
because.
Good.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
no, you had it.
Because we know they're at least trying something new with Arceus, but what you said really sticks. I want to know if it works.
Yeah,
I want to know if what they're trying works for a 30-hour game.
Yeah, I want to know if Game Freak has the chops to not only completely do something different, but also make it good.
Yeah.
Because we know they can make a Pokemon game. They've done the same one for 15 years, 20 years. God. So we know they can make it. But I'm glad that they are at least doing it, something different, and shake it up. And maybe we'll, I don't know if they plan on doing the Legends series differently from like the regular. But if this game is so good, I don't see how they can go back to the normal stuff. But we'll see. I mean, who does?
God, no, they can't. They can't. They cannot go back.
I don't know. Maybe.
Even just being able to run around during the battle, they can't go back from that.
Yeah, but we'll see. Again, I'm cautiously optimistic for it. It looks cool on paper, and from the videos we've seen, it looks good. So we shall see. We don't have to wait too much longer.
Looks like what we've wanted for years.
Yes. But news, we forgot to mention this, but the PSVR 2 got announced like a few weeks ago now. And then of course like the that Horizon game got announced as well to come alongside it.
I got
that's being like co-developed by Gorilla and somebody else. I can't remember exactly who it is. But my question to you, Nick, and this is the reason why I even really brought it up, as someone who owns the PSVR and someone who owns the Quest 2, are you remotely excited for this thing? I mean, Sony has a kind of a bad habit of not supporting their like peripheral and accessory kind of stuff. Like, I mean, obviously the PSP, the Vita, which was a solid system from what I hear. They just didn't support it very long with their first party stuff. And the PSVR, I don't remember anything first party for this thing.
There wasn't much, if anything, and there's a reason I didn't play my PSVR after the first 6 months, is because nothing came out.
Yeah, and
you asked if I was excited for it. I don't think I am. And me and Alicia were actually talking about this on the 10-hour drive to Florida.
Yeah,
gaming came up as I was listening to one of the podcasts, and so I'll credit her for this analysis. But the problem with PSVR and PSVR 2 as well, since that's also connected to your PlayStation, is that one, you need a PlayStation to play it,
right? And
two, you're going to be the only one playing that PSVR when you're in a room full of 2, 3, 4 people.
Yeah,
just like the initial PSVR, just like all the other VR headsets except for the wireless ones, like Oculus Quest 2, where you can have 2 to 3 people in a room all playing VR at once. And I know a lot of people prefer playing VR by themselves, or they prefer playing remotely with other people, but
yeah,
it just doesn't have that same connectability, that same social aspect that something like Oculus Quest has, or something like just a regular Nintendo Switch or an Xbox has. So I don't think PSVR sold that well. I don't think it sold well enough to warrant having first party games on it. And I think it's going to be the case for PSVR 2, especially if that's more expensive. And it's already hard to get a PS5.
Yeah.
So if you have a hard to get console and you release, a $300, $400 accessory to that, there's no way that's going to sell.
This only works on PS5?
I don't know for sure, but I'm just speculating and assuming that this will. Do we know when this is coming out? Do we know if it's coming out this year?
I think it's 2023, maybe.
Then yeah, that'll be PS5 exclusive. Especially if it's just running on one cord and doesn't have that separate processor that was needed for the PS4. I think it'll be exclusive to the PS5. And maybe they'll have a higher install base by then, but I don't know. It's hard to get excited for VR because you get to a point where it's hyper realistic, and then you're like, all right, I'm living in this world now. It's like, okay, I could just take this off and see the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of non-gamers and a lot of non-gaming companies are hyping up the metaverse and VR like it's the next coming of Christ. And
yeah, I don't even get it. There's there's no metaverse yet. Like they're just talking about it. It's so strange. It's so bizarre.
I was watching the news this week and they were talking about the Microsoft Activision acquisition.
Yeah.
And they were claiming that it was because Microsoft wanted to expand its metaverse. No. And I was like, what the hell does that even mean? Like, no. Xbox bought them so they could own those games.
It's like they're trying so hard to make this thing a thing. And it's nothing. Like it's just a phrase that Facebook has created and is trying to create this thing, but it's not a thing. It's nothing.
The metaverse, it's a theory. It doesn't actually exist. There's not some interconnected space where people go in boardroom meetings and share creative ideas. That doesn't exist because it's not practical.
Yeah, I don't know.
Stupid. Like, I don't know. Maybe
Xbox, Microsoft acquired Activision because they're like a $3 trillion company and they have essentially unlimited funds.
They have the market cap to do that.
They have the market cap to do it. They are Microsoft and Xbox have jumped the console war. They are no longer a part of it. They are in the content war. They don't care where you play their stuff.
Damn.
they and that's fine. Like Nintendo and Sony, they're bigger gaming wise. They're bigger companies. They make far more money than Xbox does.
As far as we know.
Yeah, as far. Well, I think that's accurate.
Even
as far as like, yeah, I think just as far as revenue, like right now goes, okay. They're still behind. So I think that's why there's not going to be any issue with the merger and a potential like monopoly, because they don't have a monopoly in gaming because there's so many other smaller companies and obviously Sony and Nintendo. But yeah, I think Microsoft has jumped the content or jumped the console wars, and they're just focusing on how much content can we provide for this service going forward. Can we get to the point where can we get a Game Pass app on Nintendo? Can we get a Game Pass app on PlayStation? I think that's their end goal. They don't care where you play it or how you play it.
They just care that you're playing.
They just care that you're playing and that you're in the ecosystem. So,
and they're fighting against the Google Stadias and whatever Apple's gaming console is inevitably going to be in their streaming service.
Netflix is going into gaming too, so it's huge. And I think
Amazon, like everybody is getting into it because everybody figured out that it's lucrative. It's more lucrative than the film industry. It's more lucrative than the music industry. It's the most lucrative entertainment entity, essentially.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I mean, just to put it in perspective, like what was it? I think Disney bought Marvel for like $3 billion or something, or Star Wars was like $300 million or something, and like just.
And at the time, we thought that was crazy.
We thought that was insane, and then obviously that was a good investment on Disney's part, because I mean they're making billions off of those franchises. But yeah, I mean I don't think people think as gaming as how much revenue that it draws. It draws more than anything else. I think, right? More than the movie industry, more than music. I mean, it's the biggest kind of entertainment out there. And Microsoft was just so smart to focus on game streaming and Game Pass when they did, because they beat everybody to the punch, and they're I guess on their way to winning. They're making 25 million subs a month or whatever, 25 million Game Pass subscribers. Yeah. It's gonna obviously increase when Starfield comes out and Elder Scrolls and all these other first party exclusives that'll be hitting. So yeah, it's insane.
I just want to put it this way: you can only sell an album once. You can only sell a movie ticket 1, 2, 3 times. You can only sell a DVD so many times. You can sell a Fortnite skin or Halo skin. You can sell 50,000 different skins.
Yeah.
In one game.
50,000 of the same skin. I mean, it's ridiculous.
50 million different people.
Yeah.
And it's just exponential.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's I'm wondering what the game industry will look like in 5 years. Just I feel like, I mean, with games being $70 now for Sony products or for PlayStation, and then some companies are running $70 EA. Are those games dying? Are those game prices dying? Because it's hard to justify paying that much when you can go to Game Pass and you get it for free, essentially, right? Yeah. Now, obviously, I think first party Nintendo stuff, Sony stuff, it's worth $70 probably, right? Those games are always going to be amazing. It's going to be worth it. With all these third parties, whether they start day one on Game Pass or if Microsoft just buys them, you're taking revenue away from. I guess we won't mention Nintendo because Sony's more of a player than they am as far as third party stuff and multiplayer games. So if you take away Call of Duty off of PlayStation going forward, Warzone will stay. But yeah, maybe it pressures PlayStation into allowing some sort of Game Pass to be on their system, and they get probably a small percentage of revenue from that, but maybe it pressures them. Maybe they'll rethink their strategy going forward. I'm not sure. It's interesting to think about.
Or they're forced to innovate on, first person shooters, and they bring back an old franchise or start a new shooter franchise. I mean, aside from Call of Duty, they don't have any shooters on their platform. No. They don't have any first party games. Killzone doesn't exist anymore. I don't even know what else they had before that, but
that's really it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they have to fill that void somehow because Call of Duty is always the number one seller on the PlayStation Store every year. I mean, even Vanguard, which was a lower seller compared to other Call of Duties, that was the number one sold game on the PlayStation Store in 2021. So, Warzone, even if they can keep Warzone, and they probably will, they got to find something to fill that void of whatever next Call of Duty is going to come out only on Xbox.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're going to be missing out on millions of dollars.
Yep. You're right. There is that rumored Game Pass service they got coming for PlayStation, but I just don't think I think their games are too expensive to make, and the fact that none of them have microtransactions, which is great.
Which is good, yeah.
But there's just not that extra revenue that they have for their games. Once they sell their games, that's it. Which is, obviously why they've been putting stuff on the PC, which is smart. I don't know how we got from PSVR to Microsoft again, but
the gaming industry as a whole.
Yeah, it's the biggest news of the century, so we're bound to talk about it for a few weeks.
It's going to find its way into every conversation.
Yeah. And another quick note here, Halo. They mentioned that in season 2 that you'll be able to earn credits to purchase skins and stuff. So that's
in the battle pass.
Yeah, in the battle pass. You have to buy the premium battle pass to earn these credits, but that's good, right? That's kind of what we were kind of one of the things that was missing on the battle pass is every other game has a way to kind of earn, small amounts of credits to buy a skin or something. So that's nice that they're going to have that. It's coming season 2, so we'll have to wait until May for that to be implemented, but at least we know it's on the horizon.
Yeah, they're learning a lot. I think a lot of this stuff should have been available out of the gate. They should have known this just by looking at other games with battle passes and seasons and stuff. Fortnite's been doing this for years where you can earn credits.
Yeah, you gotta see what you gotta see what you can get away with.
And they can't get away with swindling people $20 for cat ears, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, they can.
They did. They got me.
They can't. Yeah.
But they've already lowered their prices of stuff, cut everything pretty much in half. So they're listening and they're doing it pretty quickly. So that's, what else can you ask, right?
Yeah.
Nick, you want to read the next one?
Yeah. So FromSoft released a little bit of information about Elden Ring, which, by the way, has gone gold. So it's no more delays. It is coming out next month, finally. After years and years of waiting, Elden Ring is upon us, thank the Lord. But this game is roughly 30 hours if you're kind of, gunning straight through the main campaign, kind of beelining towards the end. Which is kind of on par with Dark Souls 3. I think Bloodborne was similar length, maybe a little bit longer. And of course, there's going to be a new game plus and a bunch of side stuff for you to do.
Very excited about new game plus. First time,
as always.
First time they've had one in any Souls game.
Well, no, they always have a New Game Plus.
This is the first time. They've never had a New Game Plus.
Yeah, you can finish it and then you go +1, and then all the enemies scale as well. But you start out with all of your stuff.
You sure?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case.
I don't know, man. I played through Bloodborne 4 times, and I didn't play through it on a different profile.
I don't know.
You can go up to +9.
Really?
And
okay.
The enemy scale, and you can go up to level.
But did you keep
1,000.
all your stuff though? Did you keep your?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm misremembering then. I don't know.
Maybe. I'm definitely right with Bloodborne.
Hold on.
I don't know about Dark Souls.
Bloodborne has...
Actually, no, Dark Souls has it too. We're fact checking on the spot.
Yeah, you're right. They did.
Yeah. Yeah, you bring everything over, all the enemies scale. And you keep all your stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember them having New Game Plus at all, but yeah. Reading it right here. Cool. Either way. Yeah, kind of what to expect from a Soulsborne game. So,
and I think it's kind of cool that this is still the same length as a Bloodborne or Dark Souls, and that it's not exponentially longer.
Yeah,
because that means it's not overly padded with the obvious open world tropes that you can have,
right?
With the kind of BS side quests and all that stuff. I think this game is just gonna go straight for it, and it's not gonna waste your time. And another kind of news story came out with Elden Ring, just talking about the difficulty of the game, and I think this is an IGN piece that they did, but
yeah,
to kind of make up for the difficulty of bosses, which is still going to stay the same in Elden Ring. It's the bosses aren't going to get easier, but getting from A to B is going to be a lot easier, from being able to use your horse to checkpoints or save spots that are kind of closer to bosses, unlike games like Dark Souls 2 where you have to trek across half the map to go from bonfire to a boss.
Yes,
and then you roll off a cliff and die and have to do it again.
Yep.
So that's nice to hear.
Yeah, Dark Souls did not have New Game Plus. Bloodborne and Sekiro did.
Okay. Dark Souls did have New Game Plus?
I guess that's what I was remembering. Yeah, super. Gosh, I can't wait for Elden Ring, man. It feels like it's so far away, but
it's a month.
I just lose my life, man.
There's so many games coming out in a month, just with over the next month. It's kind of crazy.
Are you going to pick up Horizon, or are you going to wait for that?
I'm going to wait.
You're going to wait
between Pokemon and
it seems like a good summer game, when there's nothing out there, right around late July, early August, something like that, maybe
until Splatoon 3 comes out in the summer. And Mario and Rabbids.
And then last news article, the Switch's latest update has improved the N64 emulation. I remember specifically Ocarina of Time was kind of rough for some parts. Nick, have you played any more of the N64 stuff?
I played a little bit of Banjo Kazooie.
Okay.
Booted it up and played through the tutorial.
They just added that, right?
They did, yeah.
Okay.
They added that last Thursday, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I played through the tutorial and got to the first level of the game, and then I cut it off. Have you ever played Banjo before?
Very, very lightly.
Very lightly. Okay.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like Mario in the sense of a old school 3D platformer, but I don't know. I'm not in the mood for something so janky.
Yeah. I mean, it's N64. It's hard to go back to.
Yeah. It is. It's.
Yeah, I have not. I think my Nintendo Switch Online is getting ready to expire. I think, or it may have already done so. I'm not quite sure.
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want it to automatically renew just in case I wanted to do this expansion, but I don't know.
I don't know if you want to play like Majora's Mask or Paper Mario.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna play Majora's Mask again on the 64. I would play it again on the 3DS.
Yeah, it was excellent on the 3DS. I thought it was great. Yeah, I don't know. I just extra. I mean, I'm not gonna do the family thing because I know Kaylee can play Fortnite for free, so I don't have to worry about that. So dropping $80 on it on the service isn't an issue anymore. But I mean, 50 and or whatever it is, 40, 50, I think. 50. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna play Animal Crossing anymore. I don't know. I can always wait at any point and do it if they add something crazy, like Game Boy games or Game Boy Advance games. But
I just don't think Nintendo 64 games hold up.
They don't. They're definitely
at all.
Yeah, I mean, even going back at like the NES, I mean, they still look good, but the 64 just at the time it looked fantastic, but now it's like just ugly and blurry and yeah.
The first run at 3D, it did not age well.
No, it did not.
I mean, same for like some GameCube games and PS2, PS1 games. Like those didn't really age well either.
Yeah,
it's the problem with 3D games is that they don't age very well.
Yeah, unless you have like a good art style like Wind Waker or something, then that'll forever hold up. But yeah, in the 64, yeah, it's a little rough. It's tough to go back to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is going to wrap up the news and also the show because we are done. But yeah, next week we'll likely both have played a few hours of Pokémon Arceus. So, or at least one of us. And Nick, you're probably definitely likely to pick it up on Friday.
Yeah, I've gone on the Reddit page too many times to not pick it up.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll look forward to that. Look forward to our thoughts. Hopefully it's a fantastic game and it's the best Pokemon to date. We can only hope. So
hopefully the difficulty kicks our arses.
Yes, I want it to be tough. I want to it's okay for me to die in a game. Like I'm okay with it. So
I heard it is decently difficult.
Way more difficult than any difficulty higher than what Brilliant Diamond is just way better.
Yeah,
because God, it's oh my God. I was about to fall asleep last night just playing it. It was so boring.
I did play about 10 minutes last week, and I was like, I'm not going to torture myself. I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah,
I played one trainer battle, and I was like, I can play this game with my eyes closed.
Yeah, you just
with falling asleep right now.
But yeah, that's going to wrap up the show, guys. We will see you guys next Monday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time over on Twitch. Nick, where can they follow us? Twitch.tv/GameWithTheBroscast. Nick, where can they follow us over on Twitter?
On Twitter, they can follow us at GamingWTBros. We're tweeting stuff all the time, doing polls, whatnot. So
yeah,
you can check us out there. DM us any questions that you want us to answer live on the podcast. And if you want to see our TikTok, you can go to @GamingWithTheBros cast. We'll probably post just whatever on there. Clips from the podcast, Halo clips, any other game clips that we're playing. Probably a lot of Arceus clips once that rolls around. So yeah, look forward to that. And we're everywhere.
Yeah, we're around
the place.
Yeah, and we got a backlog. We got 107 episodes of backlog that you guys can go check out. Bunch of spoiler casts. We recently did Halo, so if you're interested in that, if you finished that now, go listen to that. We just got done recording our Game of the Year stuff, so go back and check that out and let us know if you agree or not with our Game of the Year. So yeah,
and if you have any questions, if you want us to talk about anything, because we don't get a lot of submissions here, so if you have anything you want us to talk about, just email us at gamingwiththebros@yahoo.com or tweet at us, DM us, message us on TikTok. whatever you want. We'll be there.
Whatever. Yeah. Well, we got you. All right, guys. We will see y'all next week.
Bye-bye.